very much, Vijay. I must say I have greatly enjoyed speaking to you. And I am really in a dilemma because I am neither a scientist nor a philosopher nor even a scholar of Islam as Vijayji's, the impression that Vijayji is trying to create. Certainly not. I am merely a student of religion. I would like to emphasize a student of religion, and that too in the Indian sense of the term. Purely Indian sense of the term, because I feel that the Islamic view also concurs, is in agreement with this Indian view of religion. Our tradition is, and which is best articulated by Swami Vivekananda, who said that we do not tolerate, but we accept every religion. Praying in the mosque of Muslim, church of the Christian, etc., etc. The important thing that he said is, we believe that all religions, from the lowest fetishism, mean, this I would like to underline, mean so many attempts of the human soul to grasp and realize the infinite, each determined by the condition of its birth and association, and each of these making a stage of progress. This I have quoted only to explain my position. Basically, the subject of discussion today is the meaning of life and the meaningful life. I think the meaning of life, this is a subject which has engaged the human mind, the thinking minds, right from the dawn of the age of rationalism or from the dawn of civilization. And I do not know if we have really been able to find any answer to that question. I was reading Maulana Azad, and in his book, he has quoted a Persian couplet which says that the book of life is very strange because this is the only book which has neither the first page, the author has removed the first page and the last page. The 2 pages are missing. Therefore, we do not know where it has started from and where it will come to an end. This I read many years back, but recently I was going through, I saw one shloka of an Upanishad which says exactly the same thing, but this shlok must be more than 1,000 years old than the Persian couplet. But the idea is the same, that we do not know the beginning and we do not know the end. As to the meaningful life, what is meaningful life? Everyone wishes for, I would rather put it differently. If we are very advanced, if we are very prosperous, if we have at our command all the physical resources which, say, in a very advanced and developed country, generally people have, does that bring real happiness? Does that make life really meaningful? I am not undermining the importance of development, economic development, or prosperity or wealth. That is an essential element which contributes to meaningful life. But that is not the only means, nor the end of life. The really, when we meet each other, we wish peace. At the individual level, and also at the collective level. This peace and prosperity, rather peace, can it be ensured only by prosperity, only by economic well-being, only by industrial advancement? I have my doubts. Some other ingredients are also essential to make life really meaningful. And I think that at the initial stages of the civilization, religion has played very important role. In creating that awareness, because life I have to live. Is it sufficient for me to live myself? To live a selfish life? Or life will become more meaningful if I invest my energies in some other enterprises as well? And again, I would like to quote Swami Vivekananda, who has said, this life is short, the vanities of this life are transient. Only those live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. But here, I feel it is not merely an exhortation for a better conduct, higher morality, lofty principles. But there is something deeper than that. And deeper than that is, the question is, why I should care for you? As a matter of good conduct? Because I believe in higher morality? Everyone can. Not necessarily that everyone will do it. Then what is the deeper thing? The deeper thing is, philosophically, that as a living being, all others are only extension of me. They are not others. I mean, I'm talking purely philosophical terms. One Indian philosophical school, it says that Atma is part of Paramatma. It is the same each Atma, each individual soul belongs to that whole. And if you hurt any sentient being, then in the final account you are really not hurting the other. You are hurting your own self. And if you are hurting, if you are not really, in case of helping, there's a I don't know the source, but there is a famous shlok which says, Sarva Shastra Puraneshu Vyasam Vachanam Dhurvam Paropkarastu Punyaya Papaya Parpiranam. After reading all these scriptures, know that this statement of Vyas, the writer of all these scriptures, this is the ultimate truth. And what is the ultimate truth? To do good to others is I mean, it says punyai. Punya. What is punyai? Something which brings you happiness. Something which brings you peace of mind, peace of heart. Punyai papai parpirnam. And if you hurt others, then that is the greatest sin. Although I have not read it in the writings of, not that I have read writings of all these scholars, but I had not come across, I have not seen it in the writing of any scholar. But when I was going through Quran, I find this verse in the Quran, and first I was taken aback. The Quranic verse clearly says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. And when I fashion him in due proportion, the first human being, when I fashion him in due proportion and breathe into him my spirit, the divine spirit. So what Swami Vivekananda says, he defined the religion as the divinity that already exists in man. The manifestation of that divinity is religion. What is that divinity? Divinity is that Atma. Somebody asked, in greeting, in the Indian tradition, while greeting each other, one gives a little bow. And why you have to bow before somebody who is just like you? The answer was, I do not bow before the other person who is like me. I bow before that element of divinity that exists in that person. And the Quran also clearly says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. When I breathe into him my spirit. And if that spirit is common among all human beings, then how come if I hurt the other? In fact, there is another Persian couplet which says, Mubash dar paye azar harche khwahi kun ke dar shariyat ma ghaire azim gunah neest. You do anything you feel like doing, but don't hurt another person, because that is the only thing which is prohibited in our law, in our belief, in our faith. And this we can know from our, I don't think, it is necessary to understand this basic thing. It is necessary to go through some philosophical exposition. In our daily lives we see that doing a little act of charity, even saving an animal during the cold winter, that night one sleeps more peacefully compared to other. And to me that is the meaning of life. Not meaning of life. Meaning of life, I think it has not been deciphered so far. But meaningful life in the limited context of our understanding, that makes the life meaningful. And from the Jewish tradition, I find this anecdote so attractive and appealing. The great Rabbi Hillel, a pagan, the Jewish terminology, a pagan comes to him and says to him, I am ready to embrace Judaism provided you read out the whole Torah while standing on one leg. Rabbi Hillel immediately stood up with Torah in his hand. And he said, opened the book, said, do not do to others what is hurtful to you, and sat down. This pagan said, this fat book and you have taken only less than a minute to read it. Rabbi Hillel told him, this is all about Torah, the rest is commentary, go home and read it. I think if I have already taken 20 minutes. Yes. Okay, I'm concluding. So I feel, when I was talking of religion, I was not talking of religion in the dogmatic sense of the term. I am not one. In fact, I again subscribe very strongly to the view of Swami Vivekananda, where he said, if you want to be religious, do not enter the gates of an organized religion. The organized religion has done more harm to the humanity. Religion is a matter of personal experience. दर्द दिल के वास्ते पैदा किया इंसान, वरना तात के लिए कुछ कब न थे कर्रो बहन. Quran repeatedly tells us, वलौ शाअ अल्लाह लजअलकुम उम्मतन वाहिदा. If we had willed so, we would have made you all subscribe to one way. If that is not the, I mean, it keeps happening. It happens through the instrument of organized religion, where the leaders of that organized thing, they take unto themselves the role of God, and they try to, many times we see where they try to impose their own views, their own ways. Each individual human being, human being has a unique personality, and you cannot have a common thing for everybody. So I think that the meaningful life, because I was referring to religion, therefore some people can have this thing in mind that I'm trying to preach religion only to the extent where it says Daya Dharmasya Janambhumi, where religion creates the feelings of compassion, the feelings of fellowship, the feelings of brotherhood, not dogma, doctrine or rituals. That is not part, and India's religion has always been spirituality. It is not dogma, doctrine or rituals and customs. So in that sense, we can use interchangeably these two terms, religion or compassion. Compassion and understanding for our fellow beings. That possibly, I'm not giving you any, in fact, when Vijay Bhai had spoken to me about 20 days back, then I did not, because of some mix-up, I did not receive any further message. And some friend of his and mine in common told me that possibly this program has been postponed yesterday in my village, but Vijay Bhai told me that it's on. So I came rushing. I have already said that I'm giving you neither philosophical exposition. I'm just my stray thoughts, how we can make our lives more meaningful. Thank you very much.